Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to talk about why the half-ton truck is dead. I feel like this is going to be somewhat controversial, but let's talk. Number one, the reason I feel this way is because over time, and especially the last 5 years, but really the last 10 or 15, the half-ton series truck has gotten more and more different from its 25 and 3500 series counterparts. Why do you say that? Well, regardless of whether or not the bodies are the same. So for example, right, Chevy has most of its life used the exact same body for a half ton and a 3/4 ton, 1 ton, until recently, right? In 2019, they kind of split them off and they're slightly different. Ford has always had a different body for an F-150 and an F-250, 350. So, that's always been the case. And then Ram has kind of gone back and forth as well. They've had some of the same, some of the not the same, whatever. Anyway, that doesn't really concern me too much that they're different. What really concerns me is that the drivetrains are different. So back in, say, the mid-2000s, a 5.4 F-150 was the same engine that was in a 5.4 F-250, and the transmission was essentially the same but just heavier duty for the 250, and all of the trim levels and stuff like that pretty much carried over, and the trucks were the same minus just the level of heavy dutiness. There was really not any fuel economy based decisions made on the lighter duty trucks that made them much different than a 3/4 1 ton. So active grille shutters, cylinder deactivations, turbocharged 6-cylinder engines, turbocharged 4-cylinder engines, all these things just didn't really exist. You kind of had the exact same platform, just smaller or bigger. And then if you got to the real base model 150, you would have a just standard naturally aspirated V6, like a old school small work truck engine V6, not a high-strung turboed 4-cylinder. And by the way, I'm not necessarily against some of these technological advancements, right? You've increased fuel economy and power and everything else. However, what we're seeing in the half-ton segment is the trucks are becoming exceedingly complex compared to their 25, 3500 series counterparts. And again, most people, when they think of a truck, they think of a half-ton because that's what most people buy, like average Joes. And so they don't really look into the 3/4 1 tons, but despite popular opinion, a 3/4 1 ton truck, gasser, has basically the same level of complexity as they did 20, 30 years ago. They're really not that much different. A little bit of stuff, a little bit more gears in the transmission and stuff, but it's not really worlds different. It's 10% more, not 50% more complexity, whatever, right? Now, obviously the diesels are more complex, sure. However, that's been going on since 2007. So again, a modern diesel is not really any more complex than it was in 07 or at least 2011 when DPF or DEF came out. They've kind of been the same since then. So that's just been a 15-year thing now. So I consider that similarly complex to what's out there now. And then again, somebody's saying, oh, well, you have the heated this and the cooled that and the massaging this. Again, you don't have to buy a Platinum or a High Country or any of these super mega high trim levels. So I'm talking XLT, LT, Bighorn level trucks here, okay? Those still exist. You can still buy those despite what YouTube makes you think that you have to go out and buy a $100,000+ truck. You don't, okay? You can do the same job with a $60,000, $70,000 truck. Still a lot of money, I get it. Anyway, not the point of this video. So where did it all go wrong? Well, if you take a 7.3 Godzilla F-250, for example, my truck that I have, and you take a 3.5 EcoBoost F-150 with the same cab configuration, crew cab, 6.5 foot bed, they are actually rated to tow a similar amount on the low end of the F-250 with a highway or gear ratio. The EcoBoost is 12 to 14-ish, and the F-250 is only 14. Now, if you get 430s, it's way higher, but we're just talking, you can spec a similar truck in a 250 and a 150. Payload will be lower in the 150, of course, all that kind of jazz. However, power is practically the same between the EcoBoost and the 7.3. Transmissions, gear-wise, are I think they might be the exact same gear ratios. If not, they're very close. And you could essentially get a similar towing experience, similar driving experience between a 3/4 and half-ton truck in that sense, right? Because you've spec'd them very, very close. And I would argue that this was pretty true back in the day even. If you took a V10 F250 and a 5.4 F250 or F150, they probably would have towed from an acceleration perspective similarly because they were, kind of similar power to weight ratios. Or you could obviously get the 5.4 in each truck, for example. So you could get similar driving experiences. So the difference, though, is that 5.4 F150 didn't have cylinder deactivation, didn't have active grille shutters, didn't have turbos and intercoolers and all the things that come along with getting an EcoBoost. And not that the EcoBoost is even like a bad motor per se, it has its issues, but it is just unarguably much more mechanically and therefore electrically complex than a 7.3 Godzilla. So the other kicker to me is, all right, you're taking the hit for the complexity, and as a result, you're getting better fuel economy than ever before. That EcoBoost is gonna do much better than a 5.4 F-150 in day-to-day driving. Towing is a different story, but in day-to-day driving, it'll do much better. But, and this is always an interesting thing, the MSRPs for a similar trim level truck are almost identical. XLT, premium, F-150 versus 250, gassers, almost identical. It's kind of interesting how close they are. So you don't really get a cheaper truck on the outset. And then I know what you're thinking, okay, well, brakes and stuff like that should be cheaper. Yeah, marginally for sure. Tires a little bit cheaper for sure. But all those things don't potentially last as long if you're doing the same job with the 150 as the 250. Even if that job is just daily driving, presumably stuff's gonna wear out a little faster because it's not quite as big and heavy duty. So do you really on a cost per mile basis save money? I don't know, you might not. So all of this is to say, the cost proposition for a 150 or a 1500 series truck has really, really changed in the last 10, 15 years. It used to be that a half-ton was just a downsized 3/4 ton. And again, it's just not the case anymore. It's a different thing. And that comes with benefits, but a lot of negatives as well. So, I don't know. I'm, as an F-250 owner and a 2005 Silverado owner, kind of a weird combo of half-ton and 3/4 ton, I really, as time has gone on, kind of decided, or realized, I should say, that unless you are truly never using a pickup as a pickup, listen, some people just want a daily a pickup truck and don't ever have any intentions of doing pickup truck things, which I don't fault, by the way. Do you. But if you're gonna actually put stuff in the bed and go on hunting trips and go, tow trailers here and there and all the things that your pickup truck is generally expected to do, I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna keep it long term, you might just find that a 2500 actually lasts you longer and winds up being a better bargain. And you actually save money in the long run. So, I don't know. Just something to think about anyway. We got a little situation going on here, a little situation ship. We might have lost a tire. One form of evidence of this is just simply the fact that a lot of these recalls that people are up in arms about, again, rightfully so, have really mostly, if not fully, occurred on the half-ton series trucks. So there have been a little bit of recall type stuff with I think the transmissions, Duramaxes, but even at that, really, it seems like most of the transmission-related stuff is like the 8-speeds in the half-ton Silverados, the CDF drum issue in the F-150s. Like, it's been mostly on the 1500 series trucks, at least the big recalls. Even things like the Tundra with their turbo issues and their transmission issues, like, that's a half-ton truck, right? So the second you step into that 3/4 ton gasser, they're all pretty much recall-free, or at least minimal recalls, and just generally more reliable. Like, I just find it funny, the comments I see on YouTube all the time. A, our modern trucks are too expensive. B, the second most said comment is, all new trucks are junk, I'm gonna buy an old truck. When that's just not the case. Honestly, are all new half-tons junk? A little bit, like, not really, but I get why people say that. I don't necessarily disagree. But 3/4 and 1 tons really aren't all junk. And even the diesels, as much as we all hate the emission stuff from a reliability perspective, listen, I'm right there with you. But like, if you use them right and, put a little bit of fuel additives in it, and or just make sure you're running the truck hard once in a while, towing some trailers, not just bumming around town. Guys, people get 200,000 miles out of emission systems without too much hassle. Like, it happens all the time. And yes, I understand, it should go 500,000 miles. Like, I get it. But guys, I don't care what you think and what you say. The vast majority of your friggin' 7.3 diesels and your early Duramaxes and Cummins and whatever weren't going freaking 400,000 miles. The rest of the truck rotted out, the engine got oil leaks, somebody did something stupid, whatever it was, your average pickup does not go 400,000 miles, okay? I understand there are exceptions, all right? This truck has 258,000 miles on it. It is an exception in many ways. However, it's also got a lot of new parts, which is the other thing people don't really talk about very often when they make these claims. But anyway, point is, for your average person, that 200,000 mile mark, something like that, is going to be considered good enough to them, and they've gotten their money's worth out of it, and they're ready to upgrade anyway. For your average Joe. I'm not talking about the guy who's, still stuck 50 years ago driving a square body Chevy, which, by the way, I'm all for. I love. Nope, not downing you. I'm driving a 25-year-old truck myself. Whatever. Anyway, and even if you think that all trucks are unreliable, and even if, you're going off of what I'm saying, that a lot of half tons are kind of unreliable, well, that's great and all for now, because you can buy something older and it will also still be reliable. But what are you going to do 20 years from now? You going to buy a truck and fully restore it? Are you going to be able to find quality parts to restore it? That's been my issue with this truck. I've put all the effort and time and money into it in the world, and I've found parts that fail after freaking 40,000 miles and have a 2-year warranty on them. I mean, that's worse than the factory's original 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty that all of the parts would have on it, right? So you're not going to get that OEM reliability in that sense, or warranty ability anyway. Additionally, you or a mechanic you're paying has to do all the work. There's not a dealership to do a little bit of that warranty work for you and whatever else. So you can do that, as I tried, and it works to a degree, but it's going to cost you time and money and effort. And if you got a wife and kids and soccer games to get to and long distance road trips to go on, are you going to really be able to, fix the truck when some random piece of crap part you put on it because you couldn't find a good one breaks right before a trip? I don't know. Maybe you can. I can't, but maybe you can. It started driving me freaking crazy, and that's why I bought a new truck. So, I don't know. I get the perspective, and that's why I make this video. Like, I was the guy who was like, everything new is shitty, and I'm going to keep an old truck. But I then realized that is not all it's cracked up to be, especially if you're doing long distance towing, long distance just driving in general. If you're only commuting, like I am right now, a lot of this stuff is different, right? You can afford a little bit of breakages and maybe limp your truck home from work one day or whatever it is. But I don't know. I've run out of patience for that as I've gotten busier in life, and I don't even have kids or anything yet. So listen, I don't claim to be, super wise when it comes to what it's actually like to be busy, but I'm just giving you my perspective. So.